Hello and welcome to the Face of Mental Health. I'm Bulan Mpatsu. In this episode, I'll be talking to a mental health activist and a founder of an organization, an NGO, which works with mental health issues. His name is Lekhetho Khama, and he'll be taking us through his journey of mental health. LK, welcome to the Faces of Mental Health.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Much.
Thank you for coming. So tell us about your journey.
Mm-hmm. I mean, where does one start?
First
of all, yes, Lekhetho Khama.
My bad.
That's okay. Lekhetho Khama, son of Ntate Khama, Dira Khama, Dr. Khama, Limema Lekhetho Khama, somebody who grew up well-rounded, in a very loving family, well-traveled, good schools. In this way, I'm trying to show you that I really had a very beautiful upbringing, right. A very loving, a very warm home to start with. Right. Since we're going to be talking about my journey, and some people might think, did he go through a lot as a child? Mm-hmm. But no, it's not the case, actually. I really had a very good background growing up. Mm-hmm. And I went to different schools, quite a lot of different schools in the country. My first, I did my standard 1 at Roma Primary, and we used to have Papa Kadinawa for lunch. It was a government school. I was loving it, and I went to Gezeze private school. Went to Sifika High School. Then we left and we lived in the UK. I went to Midway School and came back, went to Nalis. From there, I went to study in Pretoria. That's where I studied myself engineering. So basically, that's just in short, yes. That's who I am. Yes. But apart from that, or what I did, I'm a very loving person. But I have a lot of characters inside of me, Some people might say Lekhetho is a very calm person. And some might just say he's very loud, very fun to be around. So I have this introvert and extrovert characters inside of me. And I'll tell you later on about it. Nice. And I really don't know. That's about it, really. That's about me.
Yes. And I mean, you've given us a very clear picture of who you are.
Yes.
And with regards to mental health now, can you tell us about your diagnosis, your mental health journey? When did it start?
Well, my situation, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, stage 1 at that point, right. Where most of the time it can be triggered by something, by a trauma, and relating back and thinking back where my situation really started to take a turn for the worse. It's back in 2004, I lost my little sister. There was just the 2 of us at home, right? I'm talking about my sibling. In 2004, she committed suicide, At that time, and the manner that she passed away, having taken a gun and shot herself, it was a changing point in my life, We were very close growing up with my sister. And calling her, I never used to call her Dimpo, It's always Wanis. Even when I was mad at her, Wanis, why with her, so, And we grew up very close. We grew up... in fact, she was a character and a half, She used to light up the room when she gets into the house, She always had different stories to tell us, cracking jokes and all of that, Not only in our house, but to her friends and all. And so in 2004, May 10th, that's when she took her own life. And sadly, because she was depressed and we couldn't really tell from this person who was bubbly to a person who became like she withdraw from society. She withdraw from us, She would lock herself in a room, just stay there. And you can see the signs, but if you're not learned about depression, we just thought, probably she's 16 years old, she's maturing, now she's changing, she's not a kid no more, hormones and all that. So yeah, she took her own life. And that was a changing point in my life, in a sense that when it happened, I did not exactly feel that pain. I was numb in a way. It was shocking. It was shocking to a point that I didn't cry at all, you know. She took her own life in the afternoon around about 4 o'clock. And at that time, I'd visited a friend at the National University of Lesotho, right? And when I caught a taxi coming back home, I could see from where the taxi dropped me off, I could see directly where my house was. And there were like, you know, a whole lot of people outside my house, police cars and all of that, you know. And funny enough, the previous day, we were talking about death with my parents. And my mom would be like, I wonder who's going to go first. You know, it's one of those topics that sometimes you need to talk about to cushion yourself. And funny enough, here, the previous day, which was a Sunday, we were spoken about that. And my mom and I said, my dad is going to go first because he's this calm person, nice person, sweet person. And we say, so we thought, he's going first, you know. And now Monday, seeing this, police cars and a whole lot of people outside my house, I was like, my dad. I just said, my dad. So he walked over to the house, and you know how the neighbors are, you know, they look at me with pity because they already know what happens. Get there, they told me not to go inside the house. By the time, my sister has been taken to the hospital. So I went to my neighbors, took a phone, gave him a call. My mom is like, where are you? I'm like, I'm at home. Where are you? She's like, I'm on our way to hospital. Okay, what happened? Where's dad? Oh, your dad is here. Oh, shucks, the dad is there. Where's Dimple? She's at the hospital. What happened? No, she took your dad's gun and she shot herself. So you're going to see her. You know what? When you think about a gun going off, you think death. But I still had that hope when my mom said, we're going to see her. Seeing her means, probably she was playing around with a gun and accidentally went off, you know? And so they went there, I waited, they came back about 2 or 3 hours later. And I could tell my dad has just bought a new car. And driving on a gravel road, he used to drive so slowly. But that day when he drove back, he was speeding, you know. I was like, something is up here. And when he parked the car, I was sitting on a septic tank. So he parks directly in front of me. And I looked at both of their faces, Pain. Do you know pain? I saw pain in my mom's eyes. My dad's face had crumbled up. He was in pain. And I knew something terrible has happened. So I didn't want to go ask him immediately what happened. But after a while, an hour later, I called my dad outside. So, Dad, what happened? He told me the story that Dimpo did. And I asked him, so when am I going to see her? He just shook his head. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, no, guys. I was like, oh, okay. Because it's just a word. You don't know exactly what that means at that time. It's like God takes you out of your body. You have this out of body experience. Right. And you're like, nah, not me, not my family, not my sister. Death has no place in us, you know? And I didn't cry at that time, you know? And it took me a while to actually accept the fact that she's gone. Because fast forward, I can only tell you that only about 3 years ago is when I started forgetting about my sister's birthday. Only 3 years ago, which means I've been in this pain for close to 20 years, you know? And in those 20 years, my life changed, you know? And a lot of people who knew me from this music producer, loving music, being a fun person, doing what I love the most, not drinking alcohol, not smoking cigarettes, you know, always concentrating on my music and my school. That was me. My life just flipped. I started being this angry person. My mood swings changed, you know. I started getting jealous of other people being with their siblings, you know. And I was mad at myself for that. So it's like, why would you expect somebody else's sister or brother to go, not yours, you know? And it went to a point where I started drinking. And drinking was more of, I don't want to feel this pain today, because gradually this pain gets bigger and bigger inside of you. It's like a balloon just waiting to pop, you know? And eventually popped. And when it popped, I started drinking alcohol. And thank God I didn't experiment with like cocaine and stuff like that, you know, hard drugs and all, class A drugs. For me, it was alcohol. And it starts very easy with just one quart, you know, of a certain brown label, you know. You take it, hey, there's Lekhetho's back, you know. Sometime later, you want to drink one doesn't do what the first one did. You want a bigger high or something, you know. Then you start drinking more and more, and eventually you end up as an alcoholic, you know. And funny enough, from this person, Lekhetho, who was working at the radio station at a certain time, you know, earning his own money and doing music, earning money, to a person who's just threw away everything. And now I'm busy with my bottle and cigarettes, you know? And from being this well-dressed person, clean cut and everything, when you come to my hood, and a lot of people kind of looked at me like, is he okay? Because a lot of people had never dreamed this would be like, hey, okay, and they'll run me up and down. In my head, I thought I was still okay. But to them, knowing who I used to be, they could tell that he's gone. Like, and the word it's not what we're supposed to use. But that's what they used to say. And I could hear people mumbling in the background telling me, oh my God, he used to be this and this, you know. Some people were happy about it, you know. Oh, he fell from grace, from a person who used to do songs with the EAPs, the guy who used to be on TV, radio, newspapers, and now I'm cuckoo. You know, when you get to that certain level, they're like, Badutsumu Kuku are happy because they're featuring, they used to be celeb, LK. And at that time, you don't have money. You be like, no, I'll go to buy me alcohol because I need to satisfy this inside of me or make me forget about the pain that I'm truly feeling. I'm not facing it, you know? And it goes to a point where I'm starting asking money from them. Oh yeah, first or 2 weeks, they'll do it because they're still excited to have you around. 3 weeks to a month, they start calling you names. Hey, Kiyo, Patang, Okoboni. And now, Lemajitana Mutsingo to Badulam Kuku. They push you away. That's when you become this lonely person. Now you don't even want to go out. You don't want to be seen on the streets looking like that. I remember this other time I decided, you know, I just want to go out, you know. And guess what? I had flip-flops and I was wearing shorts. And this other friend of mine who passed away, a lady, I don't want to mention her name, she came to pick me up. She's like, let's go to a certain club. We got there. She bought me drinks. I'm happy. I'm excited. But you could tell people were just looking at my feet because they were ashy. The flopsy, monating, shorts, like a skipper. When you're wearing a t-shirt, at the back, I was like that type of person. And to me, I didn't see it. I was just there with my friends again. I'm back, but you're not back. You are gone. You're depressed. You're in a dark hole, but you don't see it. And the sad thing is that they will never tell you. They will say it behind your back, you know? And it kept on like that until I got a call from a brother of mine, Dallas T. People talk, so I guess it got to him. He got to hear about it. And unlike everybody else, he picked up the call. He picked up a phone and gave me a call. And he's like, hey, okay, what are you doing? I'm doing good, brother. How are you doing? Yeah, Museviti and all that. What are you doing? No, I'm still at home doing music. I'm trying to see what kind of business I can run. What businesses? My mind was totally blank, but I was trying to play the part that I'm busy. And he could hear it. He's like, you know what? I'm going to open a new radio station. Why don't you come through? I have a team of people. They're going to interview you, but nothing so good where you can actually just go through. But for the sake of them, you have to go through auditions and everything else. At that time, I had a girlfriend, and that person saved my life, eh? She found me in this predicament. She found me in this dark hole, but she did not judge me. She always said, I see something bigger in you than what people are saying. And she believed in it. So she actually gave me her car, gave me money for petrol, cleaned me up. She's like, get in, go for that interview. And I went there, yeah, and I got the job. Got to work at the radio station with Dallas T. He gave me the hardest spot, you know, when you're working from 9 to 12, then 3 to 6. Radio nitty-gritties, you know. And I was happy. And I was starting to feel alive again, you know. But my relationship with my girlfriend at the time was toxic because I was still angry. There were a lot of things I was not working on myself. There were things that I never addressed, which is my sister's passing. I never spoken to my parents about it. My parents never spoke to me about it. We never had a family meeting to talk about it. Hey, Dad, what are you going through? How do you feel about my sister's passing? Mom, none of those things. We never done any of those things, you know?
And it's interesting that you say that, because I was going to ask you, how was everyone else dealing with this? I know there's an interview that you did where you all spoke as a family.
Yeah, years
and
later.
That was the first time in 20 years.
Yes. Everybody had their own corner to go cry at. You could tell everyone is in pain. My dad lost weight. I lost weight tremendously. My mom lost weight. You could tell that we are going through something, but we never sat down and spoke about it. We'd joke about her briefly and just let it be, you know? On her birthdays, I'll go to her grave, you know, clean up and do all those things, you know? Only to find out that somebody's been here. Could it be my dad or somebody, you know? We never collectively went to her graveyard, clean up together and just mourn together, you know? So basically it was separated.
Everybody was dealing with it in their own way.
Absolutely. And having this new girlfriend, she made me open up. She asked me questions about it, talk about it, you know? I cried a lot. I was angry. I was an alcoholic. I couldn't control my drinking. Trust me, the only time I was happy is when I was drinking. And to her, it was destroying her because we used to fight a lot when I was drunk. I was vulgar. I'm not even going to lie. I was vulgar. I was wild, you know? And she's like, hey, what did I get myself into? And she's like, you know, I'm going to give you a chance. I want to see where we can go. Because when you're sober, you are so smart. You do amazing things. You're caring. You're loving. Just leave the bottle for a minute. Try to build yourself, you know? And yeah, I got a job at that radio station with Dallas T. And I asked Dallas T, can I work with my girlfriend? Would you mind that? Because I feel like this is my pillar. I was leaning on her, to be quite honest. And that's one thing that brings me into what I could say is support structure. Somebody who's going through a lot, depression and all that, they need a very good support structure. And that's what we lack in our culture. Monna ke nku halle o tla di bona o monna jwang a sele hallang o monna jwang a tla qoka ka ditaba tsa hae batho because a qeta di qoka ona di biri mo ka ho kae a qeta tsa ma ba tlo qoka ka wena ba o tshe. So when you have somebody close to you that you can actually open up to, it means a lot, you know? And that's a part that she played in my life. We worked together and my life started cleaning up. Certain companies start listening to the radio station, start listening to my show and her show. They're like, we like this couple. How about we use them as our brand ambassadors? Hey, so we are approached by this company. It's a telephone and blah, blah company.
Yes.
Yeah. So Dallas T gives me a call like, hey, bruh, go to a certain office. Those people want to talk to you. I got there. They gave me a contract with my wife. Lekhetho. Wena Lekhetho wa moputso. Lekhetho wa di flops. You know, Lekhetho wa di khotho. Lekhetho wa o dula le bo rasta mekhukhu. Wena. You're really doing this. And now you start to appreciate life. Talking and saying things out started helping me out. Imagine being bipolar stage 1. You are constantly angry. You have this energy that you don't know how to release it. And you release it in a bad way. You're constantly mad. If you're not mad, you are absolutely hyperactive. People who see you in that stage, they'll be like, that dude is so cool. He's forever happy. He's whatever. 1 minute, I really don't want to talk to you. Like literally, I wake up, I just don't want to talk, you know? At some point, I'm lazy. I don't want to do the things that I wanted to do. And now I'm signing contracts. I'm going to be on billboards. And it happened. Boom. I'm getting money. I'm on billboards. And I'm on billboards with my girlfriend, the very same person that I was leaning on. And now we're enjoying this journey together. You know, it was really amazing. And then being a brand ambassador for that, a certain company told me that you need to clean up. Bro, you need to clean up. People see you there with makeups on and everything, you're looking clean. And when they see you on the streets, and now it's pressure to do what? To do good. And more endorsements start coming in. And this bipolar it wasn't dealt with properly.
Were you diagnosed at that point?
At that point, I was not diagnosed. I just assumed, you know. And when I got diagnosed, at that time, when I went to this certain hospital, it was a night, previous nights or 2 nights before, we had a fight with now my fiance at that time. She's like, can you kindly just go to a mental institution and just get checked out? I'm not saying you're mad. I'm not saying you're mentally gone. I'm just saying, just go see a doctor, and probably they have different opinions, right? Oh, well, all right, let me just go. I got to the gate, and from the gate, you can actually see people, patients. And I'm like, no, I'm not God. I'm not like them. So I just turned around. I went back home. And she's like, so did you go? How was it? What did they say? I was like, they told me to come back 3 months later because the list is full. She's like, really? She's like, babes, no. Next day, she held my hand. We went there together, sat down in a counseling room. I went through the counseling sessions and all that. We spoke with the doctors and all that. They're like, okay, so far we're going to give this certain medication, but we believe at this present time, you are bipolar, but we still have to check what stage you're in right now. At that time, I'm like, bipolar. I have no idea what bipolar is. Then you go back and start to read about it. You're like, okay. Because when I start asking questions, does he do this and this? Do you have this? Do you feel like this? You're like, I'm checking. It's everything they're asking me. So yeah, I got medication. And funny enough, about 2 or 3 weeks later, I could feel the effect of the medication. I started becoming more relaxed. The urge to go drink to suppress the pain it started subsiding. And now my medication was more my pill. I call it my happy pills. So in a way, I started cleaning up, you know. The skin started being radiant again. My confidence shot again, you know. My work production started coming back again. And my relationship with my fiance then got better and better. We started starting business together, started pushing. The very same people who were laughing at me back then, who were taking the mickey out of me, started coming back to me, asking me for $2. And I go, oh, so you need to got $2. And then I got to become this person, not an angry person, but to know that lefatshe mona sa mao. That's what my mom used to say. And therefore, you can't just lie down and roll around in the face of depression or anything, or pain, or when people are laughing at you. Yes, you need to man up, and yes, you need to have a good support structure. The very same people who are laughing at me are back in my life, but now that door is closed. They're not coming in because I know the role they play in my life is to bring me down. When they had to help me get better, they were laughing at me. Now that I'm better, they want to come back into my life. Nah, I'm closing that door. That chapter is done. Growth. The level I'm at now, I'm not there anymore. So we're not relevant. I need to open new doors of relevant people. A lot of people think, but when they climb ladders in life, yes, we still remember you, but I'm at the level where now I need to make connections and networks at the level I'm at. So that's a lifestyle where things start changing. Oh, you know, they will say a lot of things, you know, but I didn't really care about that.
Right. And at that time, when you used to hang out motseng mono and drink, and when you saw people moving away from you, how did that affect you? How did you feel? I mean, you're already dealing with the loss of your sister, and then how did that affect you?
It was mental. I mean, from being where I was, music, I was well known. I was performing. I had hundreds of people around me, you know, new friends every single day that I didn't even know. Hanging out with celebrities, you know, traveling a lot, you know, and now not having anybody around, not even my sister. I felt lonely, felt like a failure. It's like, that don't do me to deserve all this. You know, what's wrong with me? And you try to make friends, they don't give you time anymore. You know, there could be 4 of us talking. They'll be talking, they will listen to each other. But when I spoke, it's like I was just mumbling. They never used to listen to me anymore. But back then, I could talk crap. They'd be like, hey, that's it, like it was nonsense. But this time around, I could make sense. But because I'm nobody now, they shut me down, shut up. So I felt lonely. I felt unwanted. I felt like a failure. I felt like it was over. Everything was done. And guess what I did? I decided to take my medication, try to take my own life.
Thank you so much for joining the Faces of Mental Health. Please like and subscribe to our channel and share. Till next time.